So I just came back from the Pokemon Go Tour, Kalos, how to pronounce? Kalos. Hey everyone, it's Diana, and I just came back from the Pokemon Go 2026 tour, San Diego for Kalos. I know the names. I know the names of this. Kalos. Is that what we're going with? As you can see by the way I'm pronouncing these things, I am not a huge Pokemon or Pokemon Go player. Like, I played it back in 2016. I played it a little bit during like 2021, 2022. Since I was like in college at that time, so I had a lot of gyms and Pokestops accessible. But I haven't played in a while. When I found out that they were doing this tour and they were coming to San Diego, I was like, oh, maybe I should do it. They have done this tour before. I actually didn't know this was happening up until a couple days ago. Somebody posted it on TikTok and I was like, oh, maybe I should go. I also saw people that had gone to the LA Pokemon Go tour, and I thought it would be something similar to that, which was not. This was Pokemon Tour Global, so it wasn't the same one that they had LA, as well as, I forgot what the other country was that they did this in. This one was actually more based on the community ambassador, so it did depend on where it was. Now, this event ran Sunday, March 1st, and it was going to be in Gallagher Square in San Diego. So Gallagher Square is the backside or the public park area of Petco Park. Petco Park is the home of the Padres, which is the San Diego baseball team, and it is kind of the best venue that we have in that area. Now, before we continue, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe so you can see more videos. I talk a little bit about pop-ups as well as Miraculous Ladybug, Sonic the Hedgehog, and your movie and TV show every now and then. I absolutely love doing these videos for you guys, so please let me know if you do like or have a specific suggestion for a video, or, you know, please subscribe so you can keep learning a little bit more about what I've been up to. Anyways, thank you so much, and let's get back to the video. Bye. And for the organizers, I will say that the team who was organizing this event and passing out stuff and being helpful was great. Okay, everyone who was involved in that was great. Things were accessible, and if you had any questions, they would be able to answer your questions if you had any. As a person who doesn't have as much experience with Pokemon Go, they had things that made it a little bit more accessible, but still at the same time there was a lot of things that I was a little confused about. So I'm just very happy that there was just a lot of support in that area. So I got to downtown San Diego, which is where Petco Park is located, at around 9:45. Doors opened at 8 a.m., but the event wasn't starting until 10 a.m. I tried to look up online if there was any information about it. There wasn't anything very big. They just talked a little bit more about the raids and like what's going to happen and things like that, as well as through the Campfire app. It was just that it was happening and you could show up. I didn't know what to expect since it was going to be quite different from the LA one, which they did at the Rose Bowl. It was a paid and ticketed event, and everything kind of looked very grand and large because the Rose Bowl has a lot of area, especially outside of the Rose Bowl itself. But here we're just going to be Gallagher Square. And if you know Gallagher Square and Petco Park itself, it's a very small area. Personally, I had seen people like, why didn't they do Balboa Park? Balboa Park is a park. It's a big park in the downtown area of San Diego. So, well, it's adjacent to the downtown area in San Diego. But as a person who got there around 9:45 a.m., I was able to get parking 2 blocks out of Gallagher Square, and all parking is free on Sundays. So anywhere you park in downtown that is not an ACE parking area is going to be free. They don't check, they don't verify, because usually parking can go up to $50. Additionally, since it wasn't a somewhat like set event, the public library, which is right next to Gallagher Square and Petco Park, has 2 hours validation parking, as well as $1.25 every 20 minutes. And then you could play for a maximum of $21, which is pretty relatively cheap for parking in downtown San Diego. So I thought that was a good idea, because we do have paid parking now in Balboa Park, unfortunately. We're working on it. We're working on it as best as we can, but it's just a little sad that we do have paid parking. So after arriving there around 9:45, I got good parking. I was able to walk to Gallagher Square, and you're greeted. There was 3 entrances. The entrance I went in through is actually right next to where they had the Pac-Man Cafe last Comic-Con. I actually don't know what the entrance one is, but it's kind of the main entrance of Gallagher Square. And you went in and there was this giant line outside. Wasn't sure what that line was for, but I just kind of went in and walked through that way, and that's when we get to the main arch, and it was the Team Valor entrance, which is the red team. Personally, I am a Team Instinct. Have been for a while. Ever since the beginning, I was Team Yellow, because Kaminari. That's primarily why. But each section had a different entrance. One was Team Valor, one was Team Instinct, and one was Team Mystic. So there was just all of that. I took some pictures and then I saw what the line was for. So the line was for check-in. They do require you to check in, but once you check in, you get your little goodies. One of them is a little postcard. So the Pokemon Go postcard. You just get that. Sorry. And the other one is the Community Ambassador Program code. And then the best part is the little pin. So let me open that up. I will say this pin is actually really nice. Like, it feels like a $10 to $15 pin, but that's the pin. Pokemon Go Tour. It's really nice. It's super cute. Let's see. Pokemon Go Tour. Super cute, and I absolutely love it. I didn't think it was going to be this nice, but this is like a really nice pin. So once you check in through Campfire, they're able to let you in, and that's when you get this. They had a cool opening ceremony. I was in line when that ceremony started, but they just kind of talked about the events that they were doing. 1 versus 1, they were doing larger raids and things like that. Personally, as a person who hasn't played that much Pokemon Go, I did not exactly know what was going on, but I was happy to be included. You know, everything seemed accessible for everyone, even if they didn't have enough experience. But I will say that when I got there earlier, someone was yelling in the group. Like, so, I don't think they were one of the organizers, but they were yelling about how they needed people with high value. Like, they can't just all be like small players or first level players. Like, they need actually good players, and they were yelling about that when trying to find a group for a raid, which I don't think was the point of, you know, the session, but maybe, I don't know. It was before they actually started the event, so it was like around like 9:45. So I think that was like the only thing that I was kind of like, okay. And then once they started the session, they were just letting them know if they need anything. If you're going to be part of the 1 versus 1 competitions, you could win a plushie, which is really nice. They didn't have any merch, or I didn't see any merch. I don't know if the merch was going to start sometime later in the day. I did go there like right at opening, so there wasn't much to see regarding merch, but it was nice. It was nice to get some free goodies. For everything else that was available, I do know that people were finding a lot of different things there. I will say one of the issues I had was exactly what was supposed to be found at that time. Like, there was a lot of gyms and there was a lot of raids and a lot of battles, but it sometimes feels like since you just started a while ago, or if you had little kids, you just went there to kind of take the photo ops, and it was pretty much what it was, as well as, you know, some goodies. So it was a good experience. I think it was cool, cute. All the people who are organizing it were doing a very good job. I would say they're very prepared for whatever kind of amount of people they're going to have for the rest of the day. And if you did end up going to the tour, how did it go? It was very similar to the one they had in Washington, D.C. yesterday, I believe. So it was just smaller things here and there, but it was really nice seeing Petco Park open. Yeah, I will say again, Bubble Park would have been a little bit better because there was a lot more walking area. Here you are in the streets of downtown San Diego, which aren't always that safe. So that's kind of like the only thing that seems a little bit weird. But other than that, it was super cute. I hope you guys get to go to some of the stops if you do end up going. And yeah, we're doing a new thing almost every weekend, which should be fun. Getting outside and experiencing Pokemon Go. Alright then, see you guys later.